sky on earth in the kingdom of Bath is not altogether different from ours here. 'Tis for our good to gain knowledge of strange cities, and as such the boy's words should be suffered, so to speak it." "And the people of Bath," continued Cain, "never need to light their fires except as a luxury, for the water springs up out of the earth ready boiled for use." "'Tis true as the light," testified Matthew Moon. "I've heard other navigators say the same thing." "They drink nothing else there," said Cain, "and seem to enjoy it, to see how they swaller it down." "Well, it seems a barbarian practice enough to us, but I dare say the natives think nothing of it," said Matthew. "And don't victuals spring up as well as drink?" asked Coggan, twirling his eye. "No, I own to a blot there in Bath, a true blot. God didn't provide 'em with victuals as well as drink, and 'twas a drawback I couldn't get over at all." "Well, 'tis a curious place, to say the least," observed Moon, "and it must be a curious people that live therein." "Miss Everdene and the soldier were walking about together, you say?" said Gabriel, returning to the group. "Ay, and she wore a beautiful gold-coloured silk gown, trimmed with black lace, that would have stood alone without legs inside if required. 'Twas a very winsome sight, and her hair was brushed splendid, and when the sun shone upon the bright gown and his red coat, my, how handsome they looked! You could see them all the length of the street." "And what then?" murmured Gabriel. "And then I went to Griffin's to have my boots hobbed, and then I went to Riggs's batty cake shop, and asked him for a penneth of the cheapest and nicest stales, that were all but blue mouldy, but not quite. And whilst I was chawing them down, I walked on and see a clock with a face as big as a bacon trendle." "But that's nothing to do with mistress." "I'm coming to that if you'll leave me alone, Mr. Oak," remonstrated Cainy. "If you excites me, perhaps you'll bring on my cough, and then I shan't be able to tell you nothing." "Yes, let him tell it his own way," said Coggan. Gabriel settled into a despairing attitude of patience, and Cainy went on. "And there were great large houses, and more people all the week long than at Weatherbury Walking Club on White Tuesdays. And I went to grand churches and chapels, and how the parson would pray! Yes, he would kneel down and put up his hands together, and make the holy gold rings on his fingers gleam and twinkle in your eyes, that he'd earned by praying so excellent well. Ah, yes, I wish I lived there." "Our poor parson Thirdly can't get no money to buy such rings," said Matthew Moon thoughtfully. "And as good a man as ever walked. I don't believe poor Thirdly have a single one, even of the humblest tin or copper. Such a great ornament as they be to him on a dull afternoon, when he's up in the pulpit lighted by the wax candles. But 'tis impossible, poor man. Ah, to think how unequal things be!" "Perhaps he's made of different stuff than to wear 'em," said Gabriel grimly. "Well, that's enough of this. Go on, Cainy, quick." "Oh, and the new style of parsons wear moustaches and long beards," continued the illustrious traveller, "and look like Moses and Aaron complete, and make we folks in the congregation feel all over like the children of Israel." "A very right feeling, very," said Joseph Poorgrass. "And there's two religions going on in the nation now, High Church and High Chapel, and, thinks I, I'll play fair. So I went to High Church in the morning, and High Chapel in the afternoon." "A right and proper boy," said Joseph Poorgrass. "Well, at High Church they pray singing, and worship all the colours of the rainbow, and at High Chapel they pray preaching, and worship drab and whitewash only. And then I didn't see no more of Mrs. Everdene at all." "Why didn't you say so afore, then?" exclaimed Oak, with much disappointment. "Ah," said Matthew Moon, "she'll wish her cake dough if so be she's over intimate with that man." "She's not over intimate with him," said Gabriel indignantly. "She should know better," said Coggan. "Our missus has too much sense under they knots of black hair to do such a mad thing." "You see, he's not a coarse, ignorant man, for he was well brought up," said Matthew dubiously. "'Twas only wildness that made him a soldier, and maids rather like your man of sin." "Now, Cain Ball," said Gabriel restlessly, "can you swear in the most awful form that the woman you saw was Miss Everdene?" "Cain Ball, you no longer be a babe and suckling," said Joseph in the sepulchral tone the circumstances demanded. And you know what taking an oath is. 'Tis a horrible testament, mind ye, which you should say and seal with your bloodstone, and the prophet Matthew tells us that on whomsoever it shall fall it will grind him to powder. Now, before all the work folk here assembled, can you swear to your words, as the shepherd asks ye?" "Please no, Mr. Oak," said Cainy, looking from one to the other with great uneasiness at the spiritual magnitude of the position. "I don't mind saying 'tis true, but I don't like to say 'tis damned true, if that's what you mane." "Cain, Cain, how can you?" asked Joseph sternly. "You be asked to swear in a holy manner, and you swear like wicked Shimei, the son of Gera, who cursed as he came. Young man, fie!" "No, I don't. 'Tis you want to squander a poor boy's soul, Joseph Poorgrass, that's what 'tis," said Cain, beginning to cry. "All I mane is that in common truth 'twas Miss Everdene and Sergeant Troy, but in the horrible so help me truth that you want to make of it, perhaps 'twas somebody else." "There's no getting to the rights of it," said Gabriel, turning to his work. "Cain Ball, you'll come to a bit of bread," groaned Joseph Poorgrass. Then the reaper's hooks were flourished again, and the old sounds went on. Gabriel, without making any pretence of being lively, did nothing to show that he was particularly dull. However, Coggan knew pretty nearly how the land lay, and when they were in a nook together he said, "Don't take on about her, Gabriel. What difference does it make whose sweetheart she is, since she can't be yours?" "That's the very thing I say to myself," said Gabriel. End of chapter 33.